All right, let's just jump right in. For the longest time, the path to a great career seemed pretty straightforward. But now, with AI in the picture, the whole playbook has been tossed out the window. So today, we're going to break down the new number one rule for success in this new era. It's the question on everybody's mind, right? You see the headlines, you hear all the chatter, and yeah, it can make you feel a little nervous. Is this technology really going to take over what you do for a living? And look, the honest truth is, this isn't some science fiction problem for the future. For a whole lot of jobs, this change is already happening. This isn't a what if anymore, it's a what do we do now situation.
So let's get really specific about what's actually going on. This has nothing to do with Hollywood robots. It's about a very particular, very powerful kind of technology that is hitting the job market as we speak.
And check this out. This is real data. Since the beginning of 2024, there has been a huge, sudden drop in hiring for those classic entry-level professional jobs in the US. We're talking about computer science grads, law grads, the exact career paths that we used to think of as the safest bets. And believe me, this is no coincidence. So, what's behind this? It's a technology called agentic workflows. Now, you need to forget about simple chatbots that just answer your questions. We are talking about AI that can actually do things. It can handle complex, multi-step projects all by itself, tasks that absolutely used to require a human.
So, let me break down how it works. First, the AI looks at a problem and makes a plan. Then, it actually uses tools to get the job done. It can browse the internet, it can write code, you name it. But here's the kicker. It then looks at its own work, finds the mistakes, and fixes them. It's that self-correcting loop that makes it so incredibly powerful.
And because of that, you can see exactly which kinds of jobs are most at risk. All those starter tasks, doing basic research, drafting documents, writing simple code, pulling together financial reports, these are the things that agentic AI is getting really, really good at. And it can do them way faster and cheaper than a person who's just starting out. For a business, that choice is becoming, well, pretty obvious. And this brings us to a really crucial point. That whole idea of a career ladder, starting at the bottom and working your way up, well, those bottom rungs are starting to disappear. The very idea of a safe career path is just fading away. Just look at this side by side. For decades, the game was simple. Figure out exactly what a company needs, get those skills, and then just climb the ladder they give you. But now, AI is becoming the perfect candidate for those well-defined needs. It's like the first few steps of the ladder are just being automated away. Let me be as clear as I can be about this. The old rule, the idea of making yourself the perfect puzzle piece for a corporate machine, that's over. It just doesn't work anymore. We need a totally new strategy. Okay, that's enough of the scary stuff. Let's talk about the solution, because in this new world, we humans have a superpower that AI simply doesn't, and it's something we've all had from day one. It's curiosity. And you don't have to take my word for it. Microsoft's CEO, Satya Nadella, absolutely nailed it when he said, this is going to be an era where curiosity is greatly rewarded. Now let's really think about what that means. This is not just some nice, fluffy corporate slogan. This is a fundamental change in what the world values. It's probably the single most important piece of career advice for anyone trying to navigate the world right now. I mean, think about it. How many times back in school or in your first job were you basically told to stop asking questions? That's not going to be on the test. We've just always done it this way. Just do what you're told. For a long time, our systems were built to reward people who followed the rules, not the ones who questioned them. Well, that has completely 180-degree flipped. In a world where an AI can follow instructions perfectly, your ability to ask a new question, to wonder why not, to explore a path no one else has, that's what makes you valuable. That is your competitive advantage. So what does this rewarded curiosity actually look like in real life? It's not just sitting around and daydreaming. It's about turning what you're genuinely interested in into something of real value. Let's look at a couple of examples. Okay, 2 perfect examples right here. First, you've got this tour guide in Amsterdam. He was just curious about combining a few things he loved: biking, history, meeting new people. So he created this totally unique experience that an AI could never, ever replicate. Then, on a completely different scale, you have the guys who started Cursor. They were just MIT students who asked a simple question: what if AI could help us write code better? And that one curious question turned into a billion-dollar company in like 2 years. And this table just lays out the difference so clearly. In the past, being too curious was seen as a distraction. Now, it's your biggest asset. You used to need a big team and a ton of money to start something. Now, it can be just you and an AI tool. The key skill is no longer following instructions, it's asking why. And maybe the most exciting part, the rewards don't take 10 years to show up. They can happen in a year or two.
All right, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? So let's talk about a simple playbook. A few things you can start doing today to really build this superpower. It really just boils down to 3 simple habits. First, get in the habit of constantly asking why about everything you do at work. Why do we even make this report? Second, when a question pops into your head, don't save it for later. Use AI right then and there and start digging. And third, just experiment. You don't have to launch a billion-dollar company. Just try to automate one boring, repetitive task. See where it takes you. And this right here perfectly shows the 2 paths this creates in any workplace today. You have the person who just keeps doing the weekly report the same old way, and they're going to stay right where they are. But then you have the person who gets curious and asks, hey, wait a minute, can I get AI to do this for me? That's the person who frees up their time for more important work. That's who gets noticed, and that's who gets promoted. So let's wrap all this up. The old world had a very clear rule for success. Listen, follow instructions, do as you're told. Just be a good soldier. But today, success belongs to a completely different kind of person. It belongs to the tinkerer, the question asker, the person who is so curious about finding a better way that they just can't help but try to build it themselves. The future isn't going to be built by AI. It's going to be built by curious people using AI as a tool. So really, the only question that matters now is, what are you curious about?